Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you've had a nice week out in Arizona. We're hitting the hundreds, so back inside again for air conditioning. Today, I wanted to take a moment and read to you something that I've been reading. I've been reading Torkom Saraydarian's book, The Mysteries of Willpower. And the idea of will, it's something I've been thinking about lately. And there's something he really writes in here that I think is great. He says, obviously we all think about free will and we strive to have free will. So his says, free will is an urge within us to live the way that we want to live, to do the things we want to do, and to be what we want to be. Now that makes perfect sense, that when we have free will, or when we're striving for free will, we want to have what I want, my voice. I'm going to follow what I want to do. After all, ageless wisdom teachings do say, follow your own voice. But I remember having a conversation with George Adair, the founder of Omega, and we were talking about, if I have free will and everyone else has free will, what if my free will injures somebody else's free will? In, the concept of addictions. Anybody who has an addiction, you want to do what you want to do. You want to get the high and you want to go after whatever it is that you're addicted to. And sometimes we do this at the cost of the people that we love. We steal from them, we lie to them, we betray them. So when that happens, when we have the free will that's injuring another person, is it really free will? We have the right to express ourselves, but we should be cautious not to injure another human being. George always used to quote, somewhere in the Bible, and I'm going to butcher this, I apologize, but if it offends your brother to eat meat, don't eat meat. And I always used to be like, well, what are you talking about? I can do anything. I'm going to offend everybody. Eventually, somebody would be offended by something that I do, so how do I not offend anyone? And this brought us back to the topic of free will. If I want to have free will, I must ensure that my will is not going to injure anybody. And that's a hard thing to swallow, especially because we all are so righteous. I have the right to express myself and I have the right to be, and you do. You have the right to express yourself any way that you want to, as long as you recognize that you are also responsible for the consequences. Because you cannot have an action without the result or the consequences of that action. We used to say action, reaction. So whenever science proved this, for every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. And I think that's the problem. I don't want to say problem. I think that's the thing that people are forgetting, is we have a right to free will as long as we recognize we also are responsible for the actions of my free will. There's another line in here that I really liked what he said. His definition of free will, he says, the real explanation of free will is not that you have free will, but that your will eventually make you free. Your will eventually make you free. Free from what? That's the question. Am I free from the family dynamics? Am I free from relationships? No. But I think it comes down to, I'm free from the, actually, I was thinking maybe I won't answer this one and handle it on another Monday night workshop. That's kind of cheating, isn't it? I've been thinking about this. So if I have my will and it makes me free, so I don't have, quote, free will, but my will make me free, that means I'm not restricted by anybody else's opinions, desires, anyone else's thoughts. There's Torkom also mentions that we should never impose or force our opinions and desires on another individual. And I think that's what happens when I develop my will. I will actually have freedom where I am no longer held in prison by what others think of me, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I recognize that. And I also must remember that the free will has consequences, that my will, expression, is going to have consequences. If I express myself one way, there will be a certain set of consequences. If I express myself in another way, there will be another set of consequences. And as long as I'm held accountable and I'm responsible and I agree to that, then I do have free will. I can make my choices. So that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. That was running through my mind. I was thinking about today with the COVID and the vaccine and, the anti-vaccine people and the vaccine people. And, it seems like we have to fight over everything, don't we? But there's that, I have a right, I have the right not to take the vaccine, or I have the right to take the vaccine. And you do. You have the right. It's your choice, as long as you recognize there's consequences to your actions. So if you choose not to take the vaccine, that's your right, and there are consequences to that. And if you choose to take the vaccine, obviously, it's your choice, and there are consequences to that too. Physically, whatever happens to your physical body. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's your day, so I would encourage you today to think about ways that you can express your will, and if you can be harmless, that's the number one thing. Of course, that's what we always strive for, to be harmless, and how your will may be harming others. You may not think about it, but sometimes our actions, our voice, our words do harm another individual. And we may not be intending to do it, but it can cause harm. So that's the topic I had for us today. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all the ones that have checked in. Thank you, Fran. I appreciate that. I really do love the idea of willpower. Again, the book that I'm reading is The Mysteries of Willpower by Torkom Saraydarian. It's one of my favorite books. I think this is the second or third time I'm reading through it. All right, well, have a wonderful evening. Wonderful day, excuse me. It's the morning. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the expression of your will. Bye now.